Good morning, guys. Here we are finishing up $4,200 all on INDO. Same stock I've been trading for the past 2, 3 days now, it feels like. And today was started off very poorly with how this dropped so aggressively. Now, that's not, too surprising. It's the fact that I was up buying up in here thinking we were going to rip because it had originally dropped to here, put in a giant bottoming tail, but it didn't hold and it crashed. And what happened was I started small size to test and my orders went through. So I'm like, okay, it looks like my orders are going through. TOS is good. Now it was still pretty early, but I sent in 3 orders of 750 shares, thinking that that bottoming tail that formed right at the open was going to start to rip and this thing would just take off. So I just click, 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 click. Now I got in and it did go a little bit in my favor, but then it ended up coming back down and I sold, or at least I marketed out of, at least I thought I marketed out of all my position, which I did at the time. I sold for like a $400 loss. It was really disappointing. And in a split second, I look over at my other screen to look at the 5-minute chart, and I see on my chart a market order for another 750 shares. I'm like, like what the heck is that about? Because I had gotten filled on my, I thought I got filled on all my 750 share orders. Well, apparently one did not fill or something. So after I sold out for the $400 loss on what I thought was a complete exit, I look over at the 5-minute chart and I see an order sitting there market. I'm like, uh-oh, I hit spacebar, and as soon as I hit spacebar to cancel it, it fills. And it fills me right up here at around VWAP, where I originally had click, 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 click all my orders. Apparently 2 went through and 1 did not. And it filled up at about 14, I think even above $14. And by the time it filled, it was already down to like 12.57. And I lost about $1,000. And I was down $1,400 in the first minute. And it was not expected, not planned. I thought I had managed my risk, or I mean, I did manage my risk by marketing out with most of the position up here. Now, I thought it was the full position, but it turns out, and this is a TD Ameritrade thing, and you get what you pay for. I get it. But I mean, it was just really frustrating to just be down $1,400 at the start of the day when I'm not even supposed to be that aggressive at the open. Now, I was pretty aggressive because I was biased on INDO, and it looked like it had a good shot. Didn't work out. I got out for a $400 loss. It's just the fact that I had a 750 share order sitting up there that was lagging. It took like 30 seconds for it to fill, and when it did fill, the stock was already down at 12.50, and I had to mark it out in instantly. I was down $1,400 on the day, and so at that point I was like, probably gonna be a red day today. And $1,400 red is not the end of the world, but I kind of had a feeling that that might be the start of a really bad day. So, but I also knew it was like, it's so early in the day, INDO might still come back. So I think where I made, I sort of let it chop around here, sort of just thinking, frustrated, angry, like sort of just in acceptance mode of the red day. But I was like, well, let's take a couple stabs here. It's still a really hot stock, so I ended up getting in on this down here on this breakdown. Got bought up into a bottoming tail, and then from there I was in like maybe 6,000 shares down here. I was using increments of 2250, so I either clicked it twice or I clicked it 3 times. I'm running out of breath here, but right in here is where I made back most of that loss. I went from down 1,500 to down only 200 on this move. Then I think I made some down in here. Now it was a pretty choppy start because it was like a up $400 back to break even. Up $400 back down to negative 200. That sort of happened in this area. It wasn't until this move right here that I really took a jump up. in my P&L. I had a nice trade down here. I traded this all the way through. Unfortunately, I sold too soon here on a big position and missed out on thousands of dollars. But I believe I did scalp up here, made some. And then what happened was I lost about almost $1,500 off my highs because I had hit 4,000 after, this area here. I lost it all the way back to $2,400 in this area. And then in these couple trades in here, I think this one being my last one in this area of the break of this pivot right here, I was able to get up to $4,200. So I'm pretty happy with that. It wasn't an easy day. It started out very, very poorly. By the grace of God, I was able to come back, and thanks to INDO, I mean, it was, it had a good catalyst. There's, the war in Ukraine, and I don't know all of the factors. The daily chart was good. I mean, I called it yesterday. I was like, INDO is setting up really good for a great day tomorrow, and it did, most of it pre-market, but still, I knew INDO had the possibility to be really good today. It turned out to be, at the open, not very good. Provided some opportunities, but you had to have a lot of, conviction, experience to read what was going on here, because it just wasn't easy. There was drops, pops, red candles. It would stall for a minute, then it would jump up 20 cents. You really had to. This is not a stock that a beginner would have an easy time on, I don't think. But for me, I was able to catch some quick wins, some bigger share size, and here we are, another big green day. We'll be back at it again tomorrow. Probably going to take it even slower than today because I'm up real great on the week. I think I'm up 11,000 on the week. So all I got to do is take Friday real easy, and I'll finish the week in a good position. So that's the goal tomorrow. And if a good stock shows up and I have a big green day, that's great. But at least keep the red small if it turns out to be a red day. Keep it small, shut it down early, start the weekend, and move on. So I'm going to cut it there and get on with the day. And I'll see you tomorrow.